Check one, two, check one, two. What's going down? It's your guy DH. I'm in the building. Let me make sure I'm able to be heard real quick before we go ahead and get started. Okay, good deal. I can hear myself. So, welcome, guys. It is our second version of Circle Talk for the year. And I'm really excited. I've known this gentleman for a few years, maybe 20 something, give or take a few. This amazing gentleman grew up on the hilltop, went to Stadium High School, graduated from Stadium High School, like myself, and grown up to become one of the most responsible, educated, and mature individuals that I've known. I've seen him kind of everywhere in all facets of life, and to watch his growth and the things that he is doing today, I'm extremely proud of him. Not only for being a father, being a role model, being a mature man, and being a responsible man at that, just being a friend. He's always been an amazing friend. Always had my back. Always was blunt. Always been blunt and honest with the brother. But that's what a true friend is. And so I'm really excited to have this conversation with Mr. Tamar Jackson. So before we get into that, though, I want to make sure that I give a huge shout out to our sponsors, iShopta.com. Anybody locally in the area looking for pictures, my guy Marvin Patterson. Sorry, Marvin. I was hanging with him yesterday and I already forgot his name. Mr. Marvin Patterson. He does amazing work. I have pictures all over my house of photography that he has done, weddings, birthday parties, graduations, whatever the case may be. He'll come through for you. Also, we got Icon ENT, my guy Willie Jr. Thomas. Thank you so much for continuing the support. I'm really excited for some of the events that we are working on for the summer, guys. It's gonna be nice. As soon as he's done rooting his bills on, we're gonna sit down and chop it up and get ready for our summer fest that we're working on. So Icon ENT. And last but not least, the Chaya movement. Mrs. Akia Nicole's in the building. She's always had my back. She's always been down with me. I've known her forever, and she's doing amazing work. She has an event that she has coming up. It's going to be in Lakewood. I think it's on February 14th, actually. It's for couples. I don't have all the information in front of me, but I know it's February 14th. It's at the Blue Note Lounge in Lakewood. $65 per couple. More information, hit me up after the show, and I'll get you all that information for that particular event and the name and all the ins, ands, and buts of that. So the Chai movement, thank you guys. So without further ado, I don't want to keep them waiting, guys. But before I move on, like I said last week, this year I wanted to try and promote everybody that's doing nice things out there, whether it's creating a clothing lounge, hats, whatever it is, and wear your gear for a show. Today, I'm actually wearing this hat. It says POU Dad. I'm wearing this hat for my daughter, Chantel. She is actually at home right now, guys, dealing with COVID. So if you guys are out there, just say a little prayer for my daughter. I took her a pizza from Papa Murphy's right before I got on, and she's going through it. So, guys, just say a prayer for my daughter. And hopefully you're doing well, Chantel. Love you, sister. Um, so without further ado, let's get into the man that is on stage today, Mr. Tamar Jackson. Bring him on. T, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, all right. How you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm good. I'm good, man. Just got off the course, relaxing,
Yeah,
what I mean, doing that grown up thing, man.
absolutely.
The body's getting older. So, I
Oh
gotta
yeah, no
I
question.
gotta I gotta be low key these days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what I wanted to do, man, like there's a lot of stuff that we can jump into and talk about because we've got a pretty long history. But one of the things that I told you that really made me want to highlight you as an individual, it has nothing to do with the accolades and the women that you had back in high school. Your
Come on,
beautiful
man.
children, bro, and the way that you raise your children. I mean, all of that stuff is amazing and important to who you are today. But this one video I seen you post. I watch all of your videos, but this one video it really hit me in a special way, and I really want to try and play it. Everybody that's watching, I don't know if this is gonna work because I never done this before, but we gonna give it a shot. I really want y'all to see this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and play it right now. Let me see if I can make it happen. So 1 second. All right, let's see if it works.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I wanted to come on and really just talk to you guys. Man, just in the work that I've been doing lately, and just with everything COVID and all that stuff, and what that's been looking like. Within the task force, it came up about mental health, and I never really understood what mental health really was until recently. And, first and foremost, I think I asked you, what do you feel mental health means when you hear mental health? And, with that being said, I'll tell you what it meant to me. Mental health, when I heard it, it was like, I just thought people was crazy, to be honest. And I never realized that mental health is something that many people deal with. Those in your circle, those that you care about the most. And, you sit and we look at it as they're begging for attention or they're asking for attention, which is not the case. They just know that that's, I guess, their cry for help. So, listening to a few of my colleagues, next month in the task force meeting, we're going to be partnering with the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department and Beacon Optional Health. And we're going to really be having this conversation. I think this conversation really became more important to me when I had to think about myself and what I had gone through. And, anyone that knows me, I'm always the life of the party. I'm always excited. I'm always, full of energy. And it took a while for me to get that. I was always there, but, I dealt with depression for a very long time. I was actually medicated for it for a little while. And, this is a while back, but, I experienced it. It was something that happened to myself. I remember where there was a time that I wanted to kill myself. Me. I wanted to because I didn't know how to deal with some of the things that I was dealing with in life. I didn't know who to reach out to. I didn't know who to call, and especially being a black man, I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know that it wasn't a sign of weakness, and I really wished a long time ago that I could have, I was able to deal with it, through counseling and, stuff like that. And, it was great. I definitely have learned and believe in counseling because, having someone listen to you that's not a part of your life and is there to truly listen is very beneficial when you're going through things that you just don't know how to express to other people because you're worried about the judgment of how those you care about are going to think about you. But I think for me, I just need you guys to know, and I hope that you guys know that mental health is hard. Mental health is real. And I really think that it's time that we should start talking about it and really trying to figure out what those signs look like, how we support each other when we're going through those things. A lot of times we don't see what people are going through we may assume it, but we never know how to ask it. We never know how to identify in a positive way outside of saying that someone is acting out, or they just want attention. But if we ever asked ourselves, is this how they're asking for help? And they just don't know how to ask for help. So this month, in the month of June, the Pierce County Community Engagement Task Force, like I said, we're going to be partnering up with organizations to come in and talk to us about mental health. I know a lot of our partners are service providers in the community, but the truth is they deal with this community. And I always want to make sure that they're okay in order to do this work, because if you're not healthy in the work that you're trying to do, how does it benefit the community? So if you've never been to a task force meeting, you don't know what we're about, I ask you, go on our website, www.pccetf.org. Join us. Come to these meetings, because we're talking about true topics, but we're doing it together. There's no shame, there's no judgment. It's us trying to grow together as a unit to be able to serve this community the way that it should be served. Mental health is real. And there's
I'm gonna stop right there, just because I mean, you said a lot, but I think for me, I really wanted to talk to you about this because we, as people, not just black men, but as people, never really dig into that. As men, as I mean, women are way more emotional than men. Obviously, is what they usually say. But we as men really don't jump into what mental health is and how it affects us. And to hear you get into that and touch on that, like what was going through your mind at this time when you was dealing with this situation of, man, I feel like I can't find the answers to the problems and the things that are going on in my life. So I want to just do away with everything. What was going on in your mind at that time? Like,
Man, it's I think during that time for me, like I said, it was a dark spot for me. You know what I mean? During that time, and for people who know me, people know, I'm wild, I'm crazy, I'm laughing, I'm always having a good time. But I was in a dark moment then. I was in a dark place where I just didn't like people.
yeah,
During that time, it was life, bro. And I think for us, what I mean, it's just like, and definitely myself, when you're not allowed to be weak, like that's hard. Like, what I mean, when you need to ask for help and you can't ask for help, it's a hard thing. So I think, as I started going and, understanding that counseling's not bad, understanding that asking for help isn't bad, understanding that that it's different. Vulnerability is a strength. And I never understood it honestly until, you know, a few years ago, man. But, it's like it took me to be okay with mentorship. It took me to ask the questions that I may not have asked before. It's when I was able to recognize that vulnerability was okay, a
hmm,
lot of things in my life changed. You know what I mean? My relationship with my partner changed. My relationship with my children changed. My relationship with my friends changed,
yeah,
because I was able to see things differently. I was able to see what was around me and realize that it's okay to still be the life of the party. But
hmm,
then I had to ask myself, who is draining me? Who
yeah,
was draining me? And,
interesting.
about a year and a half ago, and D, you've been around, you've watched back and forth, and it was always poor. I always love to pour into people. I always love to pour into people.
Yeah,
And I had one of my big sisters, what I mean, mentor of mine, Shelly Willis, and she asked me, what does that mean to you?
hmm,
What does pour mean? You keep telling people to pour into those that pour into you, but what does it mean?
right.
And I sat back, and I finally figured it out. And that meant to protect my energy, observe my circle, utilize my gift, and rebuild through reciprocation.
Mm.
I stopped giving away my energy to those that were not giving me the energy back. Any
Absolutely.
conversation that I went into, if I wasn't energized when I left that conversation, was it a conversation that I was meant to have, or should I had had that conversation? I
Hmm.
learned to see things differently, but that's also when I understood that mental health didn't mean that you were insane.
Right.
Mental health didn't mean that you were psycho, bro. Mental health means you're taking care of yourself and putting yourself first.
Mm.
And I had to realize that if I was not okay and I wasn't happy with where I was in life, those around me cannot benefit off of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't grow the way that they should be growing because they're concerned about me now,
Yeah.
but they can't help me if they don't understand what's actually going on with me. And I cannot relay the message of the help that I need when I don't even know what the hell's going on myself.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't call David and say, Brody, I'm going through something. I need you. I can't call and tell you that when I don't even know what's wrong with me. When I can't sit still and ask myself, why am I not happy?
But
And
let me
I
ask you this though. When you say that, you can't call me and ask me that, but do you think that someone else's perspective can sometimes jolt what you've been looking for into the forefront? Maybe saying that I just don't know what's going on. I've been walking in circles, and I've been fighting with my girl, and me and my kids aren't getting it right, and I'm having all these issues with my job. And maybe someone else's perspective, you don't think that maybe someone else's perspective could maybe make you see it from a different wavelength of life, maybe?
It depends on whose perspective you're looking for.
Right.
Because some people speak on their problems because they don't want the solution. They
Hmm.
just want people to hear that they're going through something.
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? When you say the same thing to three people, four
Yeah.
people, five people, then you got to ask yourself, where was one, two, and three at?
Yeah.
Why am I at the fifth person right now telling them,
Absolutely.
what I mean? That means you don't want a solution. And if you're looking for the solution, you didn't have the right people that you were telling in the first place.
Hmm.
So I do believe a perspective can be given to jolt what's happening, but are you willing to sit down and go to that quiet place where you're asking, why am I just not ticking the way that I used to tick? What was it that put me in this mood that I'm in right now? And a
Yeah.
lot of times, and I'll take it deeper, D. A lot of times we're so worried about what other people think of us
Mm.
that we don't even blame them for how we feel.
Yeah.
We bring it internally, we bring it home.
Absolutely.
And so now home is the issue. Our
Yeah.
partner is the problem. Our children are the problem. But it's not that, it's outside. And we have so much respect for people
Mm.
outside of our homes that we sit and we bring it back and think that they're doing okay. But it's our family that gives us that energy. Dude. You know
Yeah.
it. You've been there where you shut down. And home is where if you can't re-energize at home, you have to have that deep conversation.
Yeah.
Every day
Absolutely.
should be new. And anything that happens in the world is a blessing because your house should have re-energized you and said, hey, go do what you do. But see, we don't have those conversations. We don't really think about it. It's completely backwards to us. Home is the bad, and outside we respect so much. We look for so many people's accolades and high fives and claps. Bro, half the time we don't even care when we really think about it. To those people that judge us, we don't really care. You know what I mean? They always say, what do you do when you're upset? Who do you take the pain out on?
Everyone else.
No, those that are closest to you, those
Yeah.
that love you. You blame
Absolutely.
them for how you're feeling. So,
Absolutely.
when we talk about this thing called mental health, we have to talk to ourselves first.
Yeah.
And then we have to assess
Man.
ourselves. And, my big sis, before I left 2021, I was so happy that I was connecting with you and getting with you so early this year. I mean, because we've been bouncing back. But she gave me 4 words and she said, I want you to leave 2021 thinking about this. And I said, what? She said, I want you to reassess, realign, reassign, and then redefine.
Mm, 4 R's.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't even, I'm like, okay. It sounded good. You know, okay, that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
good. That just runs off the tongue. But
yeah,
when I really got a chance to think about what she was saying to me,
yeah,
it wasn't to set, New Year's, new me, and all this. It was really to redefine life and what it really looked like,
mm-hmm.
and recognize that all squares don't fit in a circle. We know that.
Yeah,
So if they don't fit where you are right now, where can I reassign you to where you still have value, but I'm not allowing you to take from me?
yeah, yeah, for
This
sure.
is a give and take. A lot of times we allow a come and take.
Mm,
I'm going to come and take something, and you're
yeah, yeah,
very beneficial to me as long as I'm gaining from you. I had to stop that. I had to start seeing that differently. It's a come and take. And that's where protecting your energy means something completely different. It's like, when me and you talk, I'm as real as I can be, and I'm always be blunt because
absolutely.
that's just who I am.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
yeah, absolutely.
But just as you did, you accept the fact, and you realize that it's out of love. It's not out of anything else but to sit and say, I see better. And that's who we should want in our circles. That's who we should be realigning right now.
Yeah.
Who's going to give us the God honest truth, even though we hang up the phone and we're mad about it? We're
Mm,
upset about it.
yeah,
We need those people in our circle because it's coming out of love.
absolutely.
I see better and I expect better out of you. And that's why I'm telling you this, because the ones that don't expect us to elevate and raise ourselves to those higher levels, they're happy with us failing.
Mm,
They're happy with us failing because
interesting.
the intent was never for us to elevate above them, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's
They
the ones
rather
that
us
are
to
excited.
circulate in their their lower level when we should be pushing ourselves to the highest limit possible. We should never settle for what we're not what's not us. Absolutely, you're absolutely correct about that, man. That's crazy. When you put it in that perspective, I was like, okay, because I was thinking the one thing that I had to finally realize when it come to me as a man growing up and being a better version of myself is having those conversations with myself in the mirror. Like, David, is this all you want from yourself? Is this all you need? Or is there more out there for you? Are you just going to settle for this when there's so much opportunities and so many relationships that you can build and 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 so many things you can do with not only your business but businesses that you want to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? You could be beneficial to a lot of people if you just put your mind to it and stop sitting back and allowing everybody to do for you. And so yeah, absolutely, man. I could never, like, I don't think I'll ever forget that that video because it took me to a place and I got emotional, watching you because like you said, you've always been that guy. Like, I got pictures of you on my phone with you with a wig on. Like,
We're gonna talk about them pictures too, bro. I was looking at them like, man, where he get these from? He got me over here looking like a 12-year-old kid in high school.
that's the thing though, bro. Like we go so far back. I went out with Deanna on Saturday. And the first thing she wanted to tell me was, are you doing an interview with Tamar? I was like, yeah, we doing an interview. Oh, he don't want to talk to me no more. He mad at me right now. I'm like, he's not mad at you. You guys have known each other forever. Truth be told, I met you through her. When I mean, even though we went to the same school, she was in. I think you guys graduated the same year, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. She was in the squad. She ran with us.
I was 2 years ahead of y'all, but we just linked up, and I rolled into your guys' circle, and we met, and that everything else was history. But yeah, I threw a couple of those pictures in there. Angie wanted me to tell you hello too, by the way.
Hey man, no doubt. What's up, man? You know,
You know what I'm saying?
it's crazy when you think about things like that, and you realize that even though you're not close daily with those that you grew up with, you know what I mean, they all have a place. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They all have a place in your life. You know, when you connect, when you meet, you know, you elevate. I remember one time somebody had said, you know, you ain't the person that I used to know. You know what I mean? And I sat
Yeah.
back and I was like, well, that's a good thing
That's a
because, you know
good
what I mean?
thing.
That means you stayed stagnant. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not supposed to be who you used to know. You know what I
Nah,
mean? You
nah.
should be getting to know
Grow.
me now because I'm different. You know what I mean? I'm completely
Yes.
different. And, you know, there's always love to be given, you know, because everyone played a solid role in your life to get you to who you are now. You know what I mean? Those days got me to where I am now. You know, being out here running with, you know, so many different groups got me to where I am now. You know, when I sit and I look,
Absolutely.
I mean, my business partner is from high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to run together and be parents and be adults and have a business together in high school. You know, it's like there's so many things that change, and I'm thankful for those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if there's somebody in your life that says you're not who you used to be, thank them for that.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
them for that because at least they're acknowledging, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
you grew up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, catch up with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me
Right.
let me give you what let me give that to you.
Because when you think about, oh, you ain't you changed. Well, hey, I remember when I was in high school, I was in all kinds of mess. So I'm glad to thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad you see that. I went from a boy to a man. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I'm blessed. So
Absolutely.
let's talk about Tamar, the father, real quick. How important to you are your kids, man?
Oh man. Oh man. You know what I mean? It's my babies are the world to me. You know what I mean? Every last one of them. What's up, D? I see you. Every last one of my children brings something different to me.
Yeah.
You know, over the years, you know what I mean? I have four. You know what I mean? I have four beautiful children. I have a beautiful granddaughter. You know what I mean? And when people see again, when we go back to, you know, man, you know, I didn't know you had four kids. Well, two of them came to me, you know what I'm saying, as gifts of the relationships that I was in.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like my oldest is, you know, from my partner now,
Right.
you know, and she calls me dad. You know what I mean? That's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my baby, you know. And my middle is from my ex-wife, you know, but she's still mine, even though we separated. You know what I mean? Even though we got a divorce, you never divorce a child, you know, she's mine.
Mhm.
And, you know, she was my wild horse. Whew, she was my wild horse, but you know, she helped me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, you know, my firstborn, she's just, you know, that's my heartbeat, you know, that's my rock. You know, she helped me and changed a lot of who I was, you know, back then as a young man to where I am now, you know, as a father, you know what I mean, completely different. And then, you know, I was able and blessed to have my son, you know, Lincoln. That's my young king, you know. And I get mad, but he's like 30 years young to me to the T. You know what I mean? So when he got the energy, I'm like, bro, you got to sit down, bro. You know what I mean? And you know, my partner's like, man, you know that's you to a T. So
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to learn, you know what I mean, to not be mad because it was me, you know. And so it's like a
Right.
reminder, like, oh man, is that what my mom went through? Like,
Yeah.
bruh, like, you know what I mean? This is crazy. But
Right.
you know, I realized that being a dad was the greatest gift in the world to me. You know, growing up without a father, you know, was
Yeah.
I promised that I was never going to allow my children to never be without me.
Mm.
You know, to never run with thinking, "Where's dad at?" You know, growing up Me and my kids, we've always had the saying, what does daddy always do? And my kids can answer, he always comes home. That's it. My kids have never had to worry about me not coming home. So when I sit and I think about those things and think about who I'm supposed to be, I'm supposed to be the best that I can be for them,
Yeah.
because their expectations are so high. And we think as parents that our expectations are high. We have to think about, when they're growing up, they're supposed to be proud of us, excited. When we come into conference, hey, that's my dad. That's my dad. My daughter, my partner has sat and told me one time, we had went down to Portland, and it was my daughter's birthday. We went out there, got a hotel, because she's, I don't know why, but she's like a hotel person. She just likes to go stay in hotels for her birthday. So I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. So we went to Portland, and she's walking around with her friends and her sisters and stuff. And they're probably about half a block in front of us. And, it's nighttime. We're downtown Portland. My partner's like, do you notice that she doesn't have a care in the world? And I'm like, didn't even think about it. Then she said, because she knows that you're here. She's protected. She knows that her dad's here. So there's nothing that can happen. So now all she can do is have fun. And so that's where I've always wanted to really just place myself with my kids, man, and just make sure that they know that I'm always there, that they're always protected.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna touch on. We're gonna stay in this realm for a minute. What is, because you had touched on it a little bit, but I want you to kind of dig in just a little bit more. Why are you so why is your kids so important to you? You had touched, made a little spot into it. You sprinkled into it, but let's elaborate a little bit more on why are they so important to you, brother? Like your upbringing, how was it?
When I said, I was blessed with an amazing mother. My mother's incredible, but for so many of us, our parents, especially growing up in a single household, they only had two choices. That was to be a provider or to be a nurturer.
Mm,
Most of us know our parents were not able to be a nurturer.
yeah.
They were providers to us. You know what I mean? It's either you house, you clothe, and you feed, or you love, you lead, and you guide.
Mm,
You know what I mean? My mom had to work consistently all the time.
right.
You know what I mean? So it didn't take away from the love that she had for me. It's just this system doesn't allow our single parents to do exactly what they were meant to do, and that's to nurture and love us at the same time. Systematically, they can't do that. You know what I mean? Two plus two doesn't make four in our system. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So what did we do? We go into the streets, we go have fun because our parents weren't home. You know what I mean? And so when I got to a point where I was able to have kids, I made a promise to my mother, when I was 14, that when I become a father, I will be a better father than my father was to me.
Hmm.
I'm going to be there through everything. You
Right.
know what I mean? I stopped everything I was doing the day that I knew that I was having a daughter and said, I don't want it anymore. Like, I just want to be a father. I never want anything to take me away from my child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All four of them, my granddaughter, I never want anything, no dumb decision for me to take me away from my children,
Hmm.
because that's not their duty to carry that and figure out why their parents aren't there. My children are important because I didn't have that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I didn't have that. And I wanted to change the narrative on what that looked like for my children. There's not a day that my children can say that I was not home. But I also beat the whole system because I'm not a deadbeat dad.
Hmm.
I'm not a deadbeat dad. You know what I mean? Anyone that knows me knows I'm with my children.
Yeah.
And that's the narrative as men, especially black men, is we have to change that narrative because there's so many amazing men that honestly want to be fathers,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the system stops us from doing that.
Mm,
And so I maneuver that system as much as I can to make sure that my children know how important they are to me. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? And I'm
Absolutely.
out and I'm doing my thing and I'm making things happen. But at the same time, I'm also blessed, blessed with having a partner that has my back when I can't be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard to be a single father. What up, T? It's hard to be a single father,
Yeah.
but it's so much more of a blessing when you have a partner that understands that you have to handle business. and you have that person that can be the nurturer when you have to go be the provider and vice versa.
Absolutely. I want to touch on something too. Um, Before I do, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you as a father in the way that you have always highlighted them. As long as we've known each other, since you had your first child, you've always highlighted them. They've always been important. If you ever were posting on Facebook, there was always at least one of them in one of your posts. You rarely took pictures by yourself. Your kids were always with you, and I respect that, and I respect you because that's the truth. I mean, a lot of people see Facebook and they try to make themselves look real and cool and all that stuff by posting these pictures of them with their kids, even though they're only with their kids maybe once a week or twice a week or whatnot. But I know you, and I know you was legit, always there. You weren't out in the streets, doing all the shows and hanging out with all of your friends from back in the day. When it came time to take care of your kids, you did that, and so I want to give you mad props for that. And that I give you all the credit in the world. Respect, man. That's respect. I
No,
want
I
to talk
appreciate that.
for sure. I want to talk about the brotherhood. You said something about us men, um, really being responsible enough to take care of our children. But how how important is it to take care of ourselves as men? Like, is that an important thing for you?
I mean, you think about it, man. How many of us as men have a group that they can rely on? And I'm not saying when I say this, I'm not saying the group that you go to the club with. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? The group of dudes that you chasing chicks with.
Right, right.
I'm talking about the same ones that you can sit and say that I'm falling and I'm down and out and I got something going on in life. And those are the same men that are going to pull you out and sit and say, you know what? Unacceptable. Get it together. Get your life together. You know better than that. Why are you out here? Your kids are at home. What are you doing out here?
Yeah.
How many of us have that group?
Mm.
And that's why it was so important for me to surround myself with a group like that.
Right, right.
A group that expects more out of me, honestly, than sometimes I expect out of myself. You know what I mean? When I was out running and acting crazy, man, my dudes come up to me telling me, hey, you're too up there to be out there. Get it together. You know
Right.
what I mean? That when we talk about a brotherhood and I talk about my fellowship,
Hmm.
that's what I mean. It's not a group of just black men that just hang out. That
Right,
that's not a fellowship to me.
right.
You know what I mean? That's just going back into high school, really, and we just older.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking about a group that actually holds each other accountable, a group that I can tell all of my dreams to without worrying that they're going to take advantage of it or take an idea from me. I'm talking about I've surrounded myself with a group of men
mm,
that are all successful in their own ways. I run with all alphas that have no factor of anything else but supporting another alpha. We
mm,
are all in our own lanes. We all do different things. We're all successful. We're all raising our children together. We do so many things together, but we take time to just get away. And we're talking about business. We're talking about education. We're talking about success. We're talking about planning for the future. We're
yeah,
talking about things that we never had growing up.
yeah, yeah.
That's what a fellowship means to me, is being around men that are pushing you and elevating you to the next level. You know what I mean?
Where did it all start? Where did this all transpire? When did it all start for you? Did you start it, or did someone else start it and invited you into this group, or how did all happen for you?
Honestly, my boy LG, he was a transplant from here. He came out from the Bay,
Hmm.
and he wanted to see us all strive out here. So he was starting to put guys together and getting together. We ended up meeting. We met on a business trip over in North Carolina. And I came back with some brothers who was like, hey man, let's connect, let's get together. He's like, bro, I already got some stuff going on. So just come through. I'm sure you know a lot of those people there.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they were a few different transplant peoples that were there, plus a lot of folks that I did know. And so when I saw it, it was like, man, let's get it popping. Let's keep doing this stuff. And so it really came from L's vision of how we had to be as men and show up together,
Mm-hmm.
But then what I also found out, it was crazy, is we still have guys here that aren't doing anything but question somebody that's trying to do something. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna try to put a group together out in our town? It's like, well, because you didn't. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. You didn't try. So,
Right,
hey, I'm trying
right.
to do this. So we had to keep pushing it and keep getting together and really just change the narrative, bro, that
Yeah,
the men in Tacoma can be successful together because honestly, most of us know each other.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we at an age right now that we shouldn't even be mad at what each other's doing. We should be asking how to do it better
Yeah, yeah.
and how we support. I mean, the same way you was like, hey, if anybody got somebody or got something, I want to rock it. I'm the same way on the corner. If you got a business or something, let me rock that. Let me wear that.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Because I want to support you any way that I can. So when we're talking about fellowship, D, it's deeper than just a group to hang out.
Mm,
It's a group to elevate and grow, but you got a whole bunch of men that don't have to be at the forefront at all times. There's many men that I hang out with that are in the background. You know what I'm saying? That are truly in the background. I reach out, we talk, we have a good time. They're not the front face. They don't need to be. It's like you got the entertainer, but then you got the artist.
right.
The artist doesn't need to be at the forefront. The entertainer needs to,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's how they continue to get paid. The artist's piece sits on the wall and they don't even have to say nothing. They just know that they did it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
so a lot of my cats, they've helped me grow and build. Some of my big bros, older than me, but just they bring me so much knowledge that it's just like, man, what do I do with it? And half the time, I don't even understand what it is that they throw in my way until I'm sitting by myself and I'm like, oh, that's what he meant. Ah, that's exactly what he
Yeah,
meant.
yeah.
Okay, let me get it together. So
Absolutely.
yeah, man, the fellowship is amazing. It's really cool. It's just a group. It's just for us to get away, be with other men, have a place to get our voices out, get our
Mm-hmm.
frustrations out. I mean, women been doing this for years.
Yeah, yeah.
They've had their wine parties. I mean, women do this all the time. They've always had the secret of what this looked like.
Yeah, yeah.
We were so prideful as men to be vulnerable, to sit and say I'm going through something. But I mean, I'm past all that stuff. Hey, vulnerability is a strength. I'm solid with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, it just made me a better person.
Absolutely. So, I really, by the way, want one of those Loop City shirts, man. I
Hey,
see,
I
I
got
see
you.
them. I was like, hey, I need me one of those.
I
I want to
got
rock
you.
that.
I
So,
got you.
let's talk about today. I mean, obviously, today's an important day in most of our lives, especially me and you, of course. Um, but how important is Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you?
How important was yesterday to you? You know what I mean? As a black people, just to think, what I mean, that what he did got us to where we can wake up and do things that we may not have been able to do.
Hmm.
What I mean? I When we sit and think about it, this is somebody that gave their life because of
Yeah.
a dream that most people didn't even pay attention to. I mean? We had people and it was absolutely amazing, but he gave his life for a dream. He can't even acknowledge, what he did. When we talk about this man, I mean, a great man. And no matter what he's done, you've always had people in society that, but what about this? No, just think about what he did
Yes.
for us, for
Hmm.
us to be able to do this, bro. We sitting here talking right now.
Yeah.
We talking, having a conversation right now.
Yeah.
All love, no hatred, but having that conversation.
Absolutely.
I had a friend of mine that reached out and was like, man, do you work on MLK Day? I said, no. Just like I don't work on my birthday. Those are days that are important to me. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never worked
Right.
on those days.
Nope.
It's we don't get enough as it is. So,
Absolutely.
on these days that we do get to acknowledge and be proud of being black, I mean, it is what it is. We are black and we are proud right now. We're at a point in life where we elevating where we're going so far with it. We're proud to be black.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, this day is amazing to me. My children get to be with me, and I think for myself, I mean, honestly, until you just said it, it means a lot to me because if he didn't do what he meant to do for us, my children wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't.
Because my children are biracial. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
my
exactly.
children
Mine are
are
too.
biracial. You know what I mean? So I mean, he allowed me off his dream to have my children off of mine
Mm,
and
yeah.
live forward with that. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't even think about that until we were just talking about it. Like
Yeah.
his dream helped fulfill my dream to be a father and do these things.
Mm.
And he's made it to where we can love who we want to love,
Oh,
regardless of who it is. Race, belief, religion, color, creed. It doesn't matter. We can love who we want to. And there was a point where we could not do that.
nope.
We would always find love because that's what humans do best.
Yeah.
But he opened up to where you can love anyone and everyone, regardless of what they believe in, because you love them.
Yeah.
And so, he did a lot of great things, man. And very, very blessed to be able to celebrate this day. Very blessed to be a black man and sit and say, I'm proud of who I am and
Absolutely.
proud of what he's done for us. And many other people that paved the way for us.
Hmm.
I mean, hell, if you think about it, we could have a holiday, 3, 4 holidays with just the
Absolutely.
amazing people, I mean, in Black history that have paved the way for us, and
Yes.
I'm hoping that we do get many more of those.
Absolutely. And the one thing, and this is just something that I was talking about earlier when I went live before my run, and I was just being kind of funny, but at the same time, it is there's some truth to it. There was always back in the day when you think about the 40s and the 50s, they had the colored side, and then you had the white side. Anytime we needed to go to the restroom, we had to go to the restroom on these wood boxes into these bins. And you sit on the bench, you get sticks on your butt and all that. And then the whites got to go over to these white porcelain, beautiful urinals, where they could, do their deeds. It's not like that anymore. We all use the same one. And if it wasn't for him, saying that he had a dream, and the fact that we need to be together as unison. There's no reason for this color war. I mean, we're all the same at the end of the day in the inside. Like if he didn't have that and say the things that he said and walk the walks and put himself in positions where he knew he was going to have to worry about people trying to kill him, we wouldn't be here. Not even, I mean, our kids wouldn't be here, obviously, but we wouldn't be here. We probably wouldn't be doing this. You know
No,
what I'm
oh,
saying? If you really
absolutely.
truly think about it.
Well,
Maybe on a
absolutely.
smaller, maybe on a smaller platform, but we wouldn't be able to, talk about it and speak about it and share our truth, for people to hear if it wasn't for that.
Well,
And
I mean,
many others, like you said, and many others, that
and
have
many others, I
yeah,
mean,
and many
I
others.
mean, on when we think of Black history, especially it's coming up next month. Very prideful of
Absolutely.
that. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? But from our culture to how we move, how we live, how we were educated, what we listen to, what we watch. We've had
Mhm.
so many amazing people. When you were sitting there talking about, sitting on the pine toilet seat with splinters. We got
Yeah.
bodets now. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
we got water that splash up. We
Yeah.
ain't worried
Yeah.
about it no more. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah.
But you're right, and it makes me think about how powerful a dream is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's how powerful a dream can be. And as parents, we need to make sure that our children understand that your dreams are validated.
Absolutely.
They're already there. You know what I mean? You just have to believe in them, and I'm going to believe in them with you,
Hmm.
regardless of what it is, because dreams are powerful.
Hmm.
They come to us at moments that our body is so at ease that you get the best thoughts in the world and you just have to remember them when you wake up. But
Hmm.
dreams are so powerful when you sit and go back to look at a man that stood on a podium in front of millions
Yeah.
and just said, I have a dream.
Yes.
White folks believed it. They was rocking with us.
Yep.
They said, I you know what? I don't know him. He's colored, but
But I like
that's
what
a
he got
good
to say.
dream, though. We gonna figure out that dream with him. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's a beautiful day, man, that we get to celebrate, be on here, talk about it, and just making sure that everyone else knows their dreams are just as powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, T, we could go on and on and on, bro. But I think I want you to just touch on what you guys got going on with the task force moving into the future. I know y'all been working extremely hard. I got a couple pictures of you guys out doing some stuff with the Goodwill, which is an amazing thing, amazing feat. But what can we look forward to coming from Tamar Jackson in the task force?
Man, it's funny when we talk about dreams, man. The task force was a dream. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a dream 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like my
Yeah.
partner sat and wrote it out with me. It came out of sleep. That was like a 4:30 in the morning thing. And she like, yeah, you're going to write that down, bro. It's too early. Like you trying to have a full-blown conversation with me. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
But 3 years later, almost 300 individuals that have crossed streets with the task force, 125 organizations that have been involved with the task force. 2022 really, really, really is the year of high expectation.
Mm-hmm.
As we sit and we start moving forward, in 2021, we served 1,100 families. We put out 300,000 in donated goods back into the community.
Yeah.
The task force is not sponsored. It's not a 501c3. They're volunteers that just got the heart to try to change the narrative of what happens in our community, and I really believe that, we had to rebuild a community to rebuild our community.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the networks within, and we had to build that up. And so in 2022, man, we got a lot of great things. Right now we're in the background planning for a Lens of Equity Summit.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been on the website, we had the mini series last year,
Yeah.
that really focused on DEAI, and A is for access. If anyone's asking about it, I believe DEI is great, but if you ain't giving access to the people, then what you're doing is pointless. So DEAI, let's give the access and let's go. But we're doing the Lens of Equity Summit, which is going to be incredible. Collaborating with the Workforce Development Council and seeing, excuse me, seeing what and how we build a diverse workforce through a lens of equity.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, every piece, every session is going to have something around DEAI work to push that further into our communities. We have a speakers bureau, which is incredible, which actually came from a friend of mine, her dream and being able to elevate the voices of lived experience. We've all been there. Everyone has a story, but when we're talking about programs in our community, when we're talking about funding in our community, when we're talking about money in our community, are we listening to the voices of the community that really have that lived experience? Most of the time, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
So the Speakers Bureau was created to actually help assist those with that experience to tell their story and get to the tables that they need to be at. So the money, the policy, the programs are being created the way that they need to be created to serve our community and be sustainable for generations to come. Not just the fiscal year, not just boom, we're going to get out the way. No, we need this sustainable for generations.
Yes.
And then we have collaboration for a cause. I'm gonna have to get you out there. That's how you're gonna get your Loop City shirt, man.
Yeah.
Collaboration for a cause is a beautiful collaboration between many partners in Pierce County, not just Tacoma. We look at Pierce County, and it is a walking one stop, from education to job placement to, any resource you need, from rental assistance, power assistance, food, clothing. We have all those things and we take them out into the community. We need to go where they are, not
Mm-hmm.
expecting them to come to where we are.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
we are is safe, where they are is not. We need to go into their home and we need to go into their community, their tables, because the community is a table.
Wow.
Stop asking them to come to our table and get humble enough to be invited to their table. So collaboration for a cause is coming. 4 events coming out: April 2nd, June 25th in Lakewood, April 2nd in South Hill. We're looking at September 17th in the Bethel area, and also looking. I want to say, and I'm going off top of the head, so please don't hold it to me.
No worries. No worries.
December, mid-December, we're going to Fife area as well. every one of them have a theme, from gas cards to backpacks to clothes or winter warm up
Mm.
to donations for the kids, man. We look for many different volunteers. We need as much as help as
Man, you know,
possible because these
I'm
things are
gonna come
big.
through.
So, hey, I'm calling you out. I'm
No,
going to need you
come
there
through.
with me.
Hey, if I say I'm gonna come through, I'll come through.
No
So you
doubt, no
already
doubt.
know.
So a lot of great things from the task force, man. PCCETF.org for any of you guys that are interested in what we are doing in the community, doing a lot of beautiful things. We'd love to connect with you guys as well. So
Absolutely.
I mean, it's amazing, man. A lot of great things coming in 2022.
Man, speak on it, bro. So before we get out of here, because I know we just hit that hour. Um, what else are you doing? Because I know you've been doing some, like, tell us a little bit about like fabrication type of stuff, or what's going on with that?
Oh man, 80 grit, man. It's for those I know, we got a few stadium cats on the phone.
Yes.
Myself and Chris Spatafor, if you know who that is my that's co-founder of 80 Grit Metal Fabrication. Black owned, born and raised here. And 80 Grit, we looked at it because when you really work with metal and you learn the beautifulness of just how it changes and molds and shift. The pads you use is grit. There are different styles of grit,
Yeah.
and 80 grit is just, it's very soft,
Mhm.
and it's how we really finish everything. But Chris and myself, we're both 80s babies too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I ran on the east, he ran on the south, but we all saw the same view, just
Yeah.
different windows. So 80 grit metal fabrication, black owned. We've done a lot of beautiful things out here, from the Heritage Park. If y'all have been out there, yeah, that's black owned. That's us. We did that. One
Yeah.
car garage. Now we got a 3,300 square foot studio
That's
and
awesome.
just doing amazing things. Cactus, if you've been to Cactus, yeah, we did that. What I mean? We've been all over the place. Saint Chateau Michelle, yeah, we
Yeah.
did that. What I mean? You can
Yeah.
sit at our tables, whether they granite, whether it's metal, whether it's wood.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of amazing things. Currently, we're working with a great partnership with the tribe and BJ's Bingo. We're doing a
Nice.
lot of their remodels, so a lot of great things
Cool.
happening there. So understand, when you go and you have fast bingo, slow bingo, whatever it is,
Yeah.
when you see that metal, know that it came from 80 grit, man. Black
There you
owned, beautiful thing. 80 grit fab.com. Go check out what we do. We do beautiful pieces. We don't we don't do metal fabrication, man. We do art.
There it is.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean, we do art, man. A lot of great things happening, man.
you might you might want to patent that one. We don't
Hey,
do metal. we
we
do
do art.
we
We
do
do art, man.
art. Hey man, this been an amazing interview, bro. I adore you. I appreciate you. I love everything about what you're going through with your life, and the fact that you're sharing it and not afraid to speak your truth. I mean, that's really helped me, because I've been there. I've been there a few times where I just needed to hear somebody say they've been there too, and they made it out, and they just needed to look at themselves in the mirror and admit, I have a problem. I need to deal with that. Like, I appreciate it. Trust me. When I heard it, like, I still remember watching it. I had to rewatch it a couple times. I watched it probably 5 times this week. Because it was the words that you spoke are true, and they're heartfelt, and you ain't feeding nobody no BS. You're being real and upfront with how you dealt with your situation, and I appreciate the fact that you guys have went further with it and are now doing things with it. As far as the Pierce County Alliance, no, Pierce County Task Force.
Are you talking about my squad?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Pierce County Community Engagement Task Force.
yeah. I
It's
can't. I
yeah.
tried to
I
remember.
know, I know, I know. It's long, man. PCCETF. No, man, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
I think just being grown, being older, being a father, being a partner, being a business owner, doing community engagement work. It's you got to be honest with yourself. You
Yeah.
know, I've been through down spots. I've been through bad spots. You know what I mean? I've hurt people. I've mentally, emotionally, whatever it looks like. You know what I mean? I've mentally and emotionally, and I've hurt myself.
Yes.
And it's what I gravitated to. And so, being able to surround yourself with people that you can talk to, do so. Be
Absolutely.
honest with yourself, do so. Go after your dreams, do that as well.
Absolutely.
But no one's perfect.
Yes.
No one's perfect. I had to learn that. I mean, to be honest, I was arrogant as all hell,
Yeah.
until reality kicked in. It was like, yeah, no, no, bro, you got a lot of things to change. You know what I mean? So I'm blessed for my partner. I always say partner, but Brandy, I'm blessed for everything that she's done for me. I love her to death. I'm blessed for my kids. Sincere, Lincoln, Jada, Jaden, my granddaughter Nova.
Yeah.
I'm blessed for amazing friends like yourself and many others. I mean, if I tried to, I couldn't name them all.
Yeah.
Um, but I appreciate the time that I got to spend
Yes,
with
sir.
you.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope to spend more time with you.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
we'll do it
um,
again. We're gonna
we
we still
definitely.
gotta link up and all that,
Oh,
bro.
hey, we have to. I mean, if you
Yeah,
ain't got out golfing, man, go golfing, man. Hey, black folks do it too. Go golf, go have fun. It's a credible getaway.
yeah,
But let's keep mental health at the forefront. Let's
absolutely.
keep supporting men at the forefront.
Yes,
Let's keep raising our children at the forefront. And to be honest, let's keep dreaming.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you again, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Um, So, on behalf of the Circle Talk is done for today. But I will be back next week with Marquise Taylor, good friend of mine from work. Uh, Opened up his own business and is doing amazing work with health and fitness. So we'll be back with him next week, guys. So thank you so much again for watching. Uh, it's your boy DH. We got Tamar Jackson in the building. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.